Hey guys, so let's talk about how to get success in your first year when starting an accounting practice. So this video is near and dear to my heart because when I first got started in 2015, there weren't people making YouTube videos teaching people how to do it. There weren't mentorship programs teaching how to start a bookkeeping business or an accounting business. Everything was more of like how to get a job there or how to start doing like taxes, like tax prep, right? And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do the monthly services. So there's a couple different factors. So a lot of people think that when you're starting out, the first year has to be like really bad. Like, most business owners don't make a lot of money in the first year. It's like, yeah, it's because most people don't know what they're doing, right? So it takes them 2, 3, 4 years in some cases to kind of like get their bearings and go. Now, if you're anything like me, maybe you're working a job that you don't want to do forever, right? So you want to go and build your business faster than what it took most of the people to do. So if that's you, if you want some help, I just advise you go ahead and click the link inside the description, either above or below, to book a call with me to see if I can help inside of one of our mentorship programs. So diving into this thing, right? The number one key to being successful in this business is number one going to be how fast can you get larger size clients. So I was in my program, he just got a $39,000 cleanup and it's like a $2,000 a month client. Okay, so let's say $2,000 a month, that's $24,000 per year plus $39,000 for the cleanup. So 22 plus 39, what is that? 51. Wow, my math is off today. $51,000 from one client. It's a lot easier to hit 6 figures when one client is $51,000, right? I'm not promising you're gonna get a client that size in your first deal or your second deal, right? He is working with professionals and people have a proven process. If you're watching this thing, it's like maybe you're just kind of like learning this stuff from scratch, like, generally it's like it does take a lot of skill set to do that, right? The more money you're asking for someone, the more that it takes to like really good marketing process, a good education process, as well as a good sales process. When I say an education process, it's the process of when someone, is thinking about working with you. So they book a call and there's a time when they get on the call. What happens in between here? Do you have some sort of indoctrination sequence? That just means that you're teaching people about why they should work with you. Do you have something that kind of primes them on the price, right? You don't just want to hit somebody with a $39,000 bill and like they're thinking it's going to cost them $10. So there's a lot of like prep work that has to go into them saying yes to that price point. But once you learn how to do that, it makes a world of difference. Okay, so that's number one. There are very large clients out there. Now, even let's say like at a bare minimum, right? When I call like a pretty good high paying client, like the bare minimum is $500 a month. If you just get 20 people that are paying you $500 per month, or let's say you get 15 people and then you get like one client that pays $950 and another client that pays like $850, you're pretty much sitting at your $10K per month goal, right? So it doesn't have to take a lot of clients. And like, for example, one of my students named Audrey, she got 15 clients and like, let's say for her it took 6 months, right? That can be a little bit slower in some cases compared to like our standards, but she's been maintaining that rate for the last 2 years, right? Last year she had about $120,000 for her business, right? So it's like that's for a lot of people that's really life-changing money, right? Because when she came to me, she was making about like she was making $40,000 at her job plus like I think she was making $35,000 at her job in like AP, and then she was making on the side she had like a $10,000 per year kind of like part-time job, right? So it's kind of like to go from making $45,000 a year to making $120,000 a year. And remember, when at your job, like $120,000 does not go as far in your job as it does when you're working for yourself. Because there's a lot of write-offs, there's a lot of deductions, just a lot more things you can do. And plus, you choose when you want to pay tax, right? Because you can make estimated taxes. So the cash flow just works a lot better when you're working for yourself than it does for like when you're working for someone else. So that's number one. Number two is really being able to understand like the more that you can tie either bookkeeping, accounting, or CFO services towards bringing in money or saving money, the more you can charge. Think about why like a lot of people will default to doing like tax planning and tax strategy, right? So oftentimes like you might see CPA firms, and they're making a lot of their money from saving people hundreds of thousands of dollars per year on their tax. Even some people, they save like millions or $10 million a year on their taxes. So they can charge a much higher rate because it's tied to making money. It's tied to saving money, right? And in a lot of cases, saving money is just as good as making money if you can really educate a person on that belief system, right? When you're trying to do this like for your accounting service, for example, one of my students, like the guy we're talking about who got the $39,000 deal, the couple days before, he got a contract for $7,000 to basically set up the person's kind of accounting system. So basically, he did like an audit of their accounting system. He was trying to see where are the flaws, where are the weaknesses. And the lady paid him $7,000 within a 30-minute call on the phone. Like there was no engagement letter needed to be signed. There was no thinking about it. It was just the value he brought. And now when we're going towards them for monthly services, the way we're kind of making our presentation is that we're going to help them save between $500,000 to $1 million per year because their former bookkeeper wasn't really skilled in how to really time inventory, didn't have any like inventory aging reports, didn't really understand like inventory turnover. So they would be buying a lot of like materials that were or a lot of products that would just sit inside their warehouse for some of those have been sitting in their warehouse for like 2 years on average, right? Versus the stuff that they needed, it just kept running out. So like on Black Friday, their hottest item ran out, right? So just like they pretty much lost an extra $500,000 to $1 million. So just that one tweak alone is going to take them from being a $3 million a year company to a $4.5 million company, right? That's why he can charge a lot more money. We're looking at about $3,000 to about $4,000 per month. Plus, we're gonna add on 1% of sales that come directly from like increases in like what his recommendations are. So that's gonna be really, really exciting to kind of see that play out. But it's all about like learning how to really like bring value. A lot of people like use this term called like advisory services, which I have nothing against advisory services. It's just the branding of it, right? Advisory, CFO, growth consulting. Now, I like the phrase growth consulting because it entails what business owners are focused on. A lot of business owners are focused on like growth, right? CFO works really well for a business owner that's doing like between like a little bit over 5 million. But people who are generally under that, they need to be educated on what a CFO actually does. Because you got to remember, a lot of these people might not have actually worked in a corporate structure. So they don't actually know the accounting functions inside of a business, right? So that's why they think they either need a bookkeeper or they think they need a CPA. Right, a lot of these guys are so unsophisticated. They think that QuickBooks means bookkeeping. Like it's kind of like a tissue and Kleenex, right? It's tissue paper, but people start calling them Kleenex, which is a brand name that uses like that. And just like they're different, but most business owners are so unsophisticated they don't even know that, right? So when you go, when you go around and start saying like, oh, I do advisory services, they're like, you're just gonna give me advice for $4,000 a month? How good is this advice? What else are you gonna do for me? Right? There's no benefits tied to it. Versus when you start talking about like growth consulting, or when you can explain what a CFO does and tie it to money, tie it to making money, saving money, or making the business more efficient or more profitable. Remember, we're tying it back to money. It makes it easier for you to be able to sell those higher ticket prices. Next thing. Make sure, I forgot about that. Make sure you document exactly what you're doing for your clients. So this serves in two places and two functions. Number one, you can use it when you're doing your exit interview with the client. So I generally would have you like make a loom or just document, like get on Zoom, record your screen, just talk about all the different things you've done, all the different things you've seen inside of their books that could be improved, that could be fixed, and then present it to them so they actually understand the value. A place where it's hard for you to get paid and for people to upgrade to your like higher end services is when you do some work, they don't know what you did, it feels like magic, and they don't really know how to compensate you for it. So, or they don't really think they should keep working with you for whatever reason, because they just don't know, right? If they don't know, you can't be upset with them because they don't go with you for monthly services. It's like, oh, this person just did it. Okay, la-da-da-da-da, right? Also, the second place we can use this documentation is going after future clients. So I like using it as a case study, right? Because then the next client can see exactly what you did and exactly what value you bring. Now, there are ways you can kind of like protect the confidentiality of the clients that are that you did the Loom recording for. There's like some tweaks you can do. You can like remove some data. You can blur your screen in certain spots so that, you know, the integrity of your old client is protected. Now, I love doing that because it just makes it so much easier for people to understand why they should be working with you and why they should be paying this money. And plus, if let's say you do a Loom with like a company that's doing like $7 million a year, or even if they're doing like $3 million per year, if you go to another company that's doing $1 million per year, they're going to be intrigued that you're working with clients that are bigger than them, and they're going to want to live up to that standard of, this person works with big companies. If I want to grow my business, I should work with this person because they have experience working with companies like mine. And it makes everything easier when you're trying to get them to pay you those higher price points. So document everything, record all of your not just recording your work, but it's like document what you did, so afterwards you can make a recording and overview every single thing you did, like a before and after. Next thing, getting people to move from cleanups to monthly work. Number one, expand your time horizon. Oftentimes, in most online marketing, right? I'm just gonna talk about online marketing, and we're gonna tie it back to monthly accounting. In most online marketing, there's, even in like grocery stores, there's something called a loss leader. So maybe you have like a low ticket product, like maybe you do like an audit for someone for $50, right? And all that's doing is creating trust with the person and getting them over making the first purchase. In most relationships, making the first purchase is the hardest thing for most people to do because they don't know you, they don't trust you, they don't know anything about the quality of your work, they've never seen your work. So one way that you get people to see the quality of your work is you do some work for them, but you do a very small fraction of your overall service, and you charge a very low nominal amount of money. Because the amount of money is not important, just the fact that they actually gave the money. Now, a lot of people are like, well, Bryce, I don't want to do anything for less than $100 an hour. It's like, okay, well, can you just do something that takes you like 10 minutes to do? Can you make a guide that shows, can you give them a calculator of how to like track different, like what can you do that you can let someone have that connects you to them? Could you help them with payroll for a week? Could you help them payroll for a month, right? Maybe they can't commit to your monthly bookkeeping services, but maybe they want to work with you. They just can't do it. So by working with them, doing a cleanup project, for example, which a lot of people hate cleanups because they're like, well, it's only a one-time thing and I never get the client to come back to me. It's like, well, how do you know that? Maybe you're just not very good at sales. Maybe your customer service is bad. Maybe you don't actually do that good of a job on your cleanups. Maybe you didn't communicate with the person that the only reason you're doing the cleanup is to get the monthly work. Maybe you didn't incentivize them based on the cleanup pricing to give you monthly work, right? It's all comes together and all like adds up in order for you to be able to do it. So also just expand your time horizon. Like they'll come back to you if you do a good job and if expectations were clearly set, right? And then all you gotta do is just follow up with them. Now, if you don't know how to follow up, we do have other videos. If you're inside of my training program, like we do teach you exactly what to say in your follow-up sequence so that you're able to get people who might have said no to you to come back on the phone. So when I say no, like they could work with you for one service, but maybe they say no to like doing monthly work, or they just don't upsell. Or maybe like they're on a sales call, like your first call, and they just say no to you completely. Like we talk about how to get them back on the phone so that people actually want to work with you. Awesome. So hopefully you learned something new. If you want some help doing this stuff that we're talking about, like all the stuff we talk about in our YouTube videos are stuff we cover inside of our training program. Because I only want to talk about stuff that I'm very knowledgeable in and stuff that I know can cause immediate impact for you to reach your goals. So if that's what you want, if you want some help, if you want a proven process to be able to go reach your goals without like taking a lot of like the struggles that most people like fall through or like the obstacles most people go through, go ahead and click the link inside the description, either above or below the video, to book a call with myself or a member of my team to see if I can help you inside of our training program, okay? So if that's what you want to see, I'd love to talk to you, love to see if you're a good fit, okay? Have a good rest of your day, take it easy, talk to you soon.